What's up, guys? Welcome to the Quarantine. I'm your host, Wolf, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a game called Multiuniversum by Board and Dice. It's the same people who brought you Exoplanets, which I did do a preview for that when it was still in Kickstarter with the print and play files of that as well. If you would like to see that, I'll have it up here somewhere. But they contacted me and gave me the print and play files and asked if I can review it for them. And so I have, and the game has basically is... You and several other players are going to be, we've been screwing with portals, ripping open space-time to other worlds and dimensions, and you have to close all these portals. And at the end of the game, whoever's closed the most portals that are worth the most points wins, and there can only be one winner, and yada yada yada. So let's just dive right into how the game plays, shall we?
Alright, this is basically multi-universum setup. And what you're going to do is you're going to put, each player is going to choose a character or a color. You're going to take your meeple, which in this case it's just a colored cube. You're going to put it on your color portal. You have red, yellow, white, green, and I'm wanting to say it was blue. Yeah, it's blue. And you're going to take these portals and you're going to shuffle them up and you're going to deal them out a certain way and put a certain number under each portal. Then you're going to draw 3 of these action cards. Now, I do feel the need to start off with saying that, of course, this is a review. It's not a tutorial, so I may miss a few rules. That's just to give you an idea how to play. As far as I know, this is the finished art in the game. From what I understand, the game is actually out right now. Or will be soon. So it's not going to Kickstarter or anything. But anyways, the way the game plays is you're going to figure out who's going to go first. And you get 3 actions through your turn. Your actions are you can play these 3 using these 3 cards. You can play a card for whatever action you have here. So, which I'll get into more detail here. So I can play this for, whatever the action is. These symbols here, you got the looks like a little atom. It looks like a magnifying glass and another not magnifying glass, microscope. There we go. And these directly correlate to the symbols down here on the portals. The portals here show just symbols for multipliers. The number of lines that are surrounding them are the total number of that symbol that is spread throughout all the portals. And then up here is the number of points. Now the way these symbols work is you have 5 different symbols. The little folder with the magnifying glass and 2 cards, that is you can play this and draw 2 cards from the middle. The footprints is I can move to any portal machine on the board, and I'll get in more into details with the colors. This means you can use the power that's actually on the portal itself. So in this case, you could take the top portal and put it on bottom. This means you can look through any card in the discard pile and pull it out. And this means you can close a portal. Now, if you notice, they're all different on each card. So the red, in this case, these 2 have the portal symbol. This means you can close one. So what it is whatever color portal you are on, you're going to use that portal's action. So in this case, I'm kind of screwed. I don't have any way of moving. But let's say I did. Let's say this had footprints. So I can play this and move to another area. So say the yellow. Then now I can play this card using the yellow ability, and I can now draw 2 cards. And then, how I mentioned these symbols here that correlate directly to these portals, I can go, you know what, I'm going to try to close one of these portals. So this one over here, no, wrong one, this one over here has a microscope on it, so I will take this microscope, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in my tool belt. So now, I have a microscope ready to go. But I've done my 3 actions, my turn's over. So these get discarded, and you're going to draw back up to 3 cards. If you have more than 3 cards, you don't do anything. You stay where you're at. But I only have 2 cards, so I'm going to draw my 3rd. And then the game's going to go around, and everybody's going to do that again. And then it comes back to me. So now, I have the magnifying glass. I'm on the yellow portal, so now I have a yellow closed portal. So what I'm going to do is, my first action, I'm going to play closed portal. So this comes over here to show that I've scored this, I've closed it. The tool that was on the tool belt gets discarded. This flips over, showing now A yellow looks like a little microchip, a beaker, and a microscope. So I don't have any of those. And then let's say I have 2 more actions, so I can play this to draw 2 cards. And then the last thing you can do, which I can't figure out why you would want to, really, but the last thing you can do is, if I don't want any of these cards, I can go, you know what, I'm going to take this and I'm just discarding it to just draw a card. So that was my 3rd action. So you can get rid of cycle cards that you don't need. Now, that's honestly all the game is. You have different abilities on these cards, which I'll touch on in my final thoughts. I have a few thoughts about those, but these have their own little special abilities, and you can kind of screw each other over and go, okay, well, you know, you're working on this one, and this one's, or you're working on this one, and you're getting close, so I'm going to go over to, where is it, number 3, and I'm going to activate the portal ability if I had, of course, the cards to do so, and I'm going to swap these 2 right here. So now I've screwed you over, and everything you've been working for, you now need to get over there and hope you can get the cards to be able to continue closing that portal. And that's all the game is. You're going to keep playing until 3 of these portal stacks are depleted. Once 3 of them are depleted, everybody else, not counting the person who closed the portal, gets 1 more turn. I do need to state, once you close a portal, you can only close 1 portal a turn. So I can't go, okay, I'm going to close this portal, or with all these tools here, I'm going to close this portal. Oh, what do you know? The next one only costs 1 as well, so I'll close that as well. Oh, what do you know? That one costs 2. I'm going to go get rid of that as well. Now, at the end of the game, you're going to tally up the total number of points. Then, you're going to look at all the symbols you have. And if you have 5 different symbols, you get 9 extra points. If you have 2 of the same symbols, for each 2 of the same symbol you have, you get 4 extra points. And if you have 3, all 3, because there can only ever be, like this, there's 3 of that one. If you have all 3, you're going to get 9 extra points. So those are the modifiers. Then, any tools that you have equipped to your belt at the end of the game that you haven't used, because remember they get discarded when they're used, gives you negative points. Then you tally up the points, and whoever's the most wins. That's how you play Multiuniversum. So let's go to my final thoughts, shall we?
Alright, Multiuniversum. I've played it a few times, and it's a little difficult to get into, but it is fun, and it's a very thinky game. You're going to catch yourself sitting there staring at the board, trying to figure out how to get these shitty cards that you have to work and do what you need them to do. But it is very entertaining, and it's a lot of fun. However, there's very little player interaction in the game. You can kind of screw each other over by haha and switching these, or oh, I see you're going after that, so I'm going to put this card on the bottom and screw you over. But it also relies on you having the right cards as well. And generally speaking, from the few games I've played of it, it's more beneficial just to keep going after your own stuff, rather, because you only have 3 actions. So having to use your 3 actions to go out of your way to try to screw over an opponent is taking actions you could have used to kind of go on yourself. Doesn't mean that's a bad thing. Maybe we just haven't had that golden opportunity or something, or you just had it set up in a sweet little spot. But we didn't find it very beneficial to ever use any of those. Which brings me to my next problem. The portal cards. Let me grab one. These here. On the bottom, sorry, my light sucks. On the bottom here, because this is just the number it is that you put them out. But this here, these symbols, a lot of the time, it's very difficult to figure out what the hell they're talking about. The rule book that I have, which I'm assuming is going to be fixed, it's a typo, it actually has 2 of the portals mixed. Like, the symbol does not make any sense. At least this, once you understand what that means and you know that they mean swap 2 portals, that you kind of get the idea from that symbol. But let me see if I can find it here. It's 4 and 5. No, wrong one. Like this, a little wrench, and this, the rulebook was saying that this one means you put the top portal on the bottom. This one is you rearrange all the portals or something like that. But, which none of those make, like this one I can, wrong one. This one I can totally see that. You take the top portal, you put it on bottom. It's cool. Well, what the hell does that mean? It's just a wrench. And on top of that, the rulebook doesn't talk about it. On top of that, from the looks of these, which again, these are the print and play, I've complained about this before, I have a feeling that their cards are not going to have a white border, and that drives me crazy. Stop doing that, people. It makes the lifespan of your card game a lot longer if you put a white border. It may not be as aesthetically pleasing, but it lets your game be played unsleeved for a lot longer without noticeable damage that can maybe give the person who's played it more an unfair advantage because they know they've played it so much, they know those cards. Same exact reason why I sleeved Battlestar Galactica, and that has white borders on it, and I still sleeved it just because you can't afford that in that game. But for the most part, the game is very fun. It's a very... For it just being a ton of cards, I'm wanting to say it's got 100 or so cards in it. For just a whole bunch of cards, it's a lot of fun. I have several other like Euro style games that are very thinky, just like this, but this fits into a little deck box, and I don't have to carry a big whole box like Argent the Consortium, which I guess it's not a Euro, but you get the idea. But it is very enjoyable. If you like what you see here, check me out on Patreon, and I will see you guys next time in the quarantine.